يا من هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Dearest beloved divine friends, family, brothers and sisters, welcome to the Electric Mosque's presentation of the teachings of Islam. And I'm your friend, your brother, Hajji Dr. Roshan Khan. I seek refuge from the evils of Satan, and I begin in the name of God Almighty, the most gracious, the most merciful. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to bring in a bit of politics before I move on with the program at hand. And I have to warn the people of this country that there is a Muslim man, and I will call his name Azruddin. His second name I will not call, because it is too divine a name for the evil preponderances that he and his family apparently have been involved with, and have caused great shame, degradation, and disgrace to our great country, Guyana. Our country, which we are now striving to grow and to develop. And because of his vulgarities, inanities, stupidities, and criminalities, the only thing he says that can possibly wipe out the sanctions that have been placed upon him by the United States government and their system called OFAC, which has to do with money laundering, export of gold illegally, not paying taxes, human trafficking, money laundering, and so forth. This is very sad that I have to raise this here, but Islam is a religion of rules, procedures, systems, and laws. And apparently this man and his sister and a few psychos, because of the amount of money that he has stolen, I can say it openly, because he has to, from the taxes, and God knows what else. And he's facing charges in the court locally, and he's sanctioned internationally. And so it is not an allegation, it is a statement of reality and fact for which he has been charged and already sanctioned. So I just want to warn you people that these people come around and they're giving you gifts and tell you, or in the form of money, technically buying your votes. You need to, if anybody tell you that, try to get it recorded. And they tell you, give you the money, tell you must know what to do, you must know how to vote. Record it quietly, put your phones on. Because that is a crime in this country and around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, politics is about service, not to go and talk sweet and nice, fooling people and tricking them, and telling them you will do this and you will give them this much money, and that much money, and that much this, and so much free house lots and free lands, and then at the same time you're saying that you will end the squandering of money. So I'm just advising you, the people of this country, Muslim and non-Muslims, to be careful with these psychos who are trying to use you to try to escape the crimes and criminalities they will have to face. And then going around and telling people there's the government sanctioned him. He's so ashamed as a Muslim. So shameless, not ashamed really, so shameless or bereft of being ashamed, without shame. And facing you and telling you that the government of this country, President Irfan Ali, and then making up all kinds of antics and games. My advice to you, the general population of this country, is to be careful. If he's giving you money, put on your recorder in your pocket, record him, and they only say that vote right you have gotten them on a criminal matter. They can be charged and face the courts and probably withdrawn from the competition, the major national competition. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of your country, your people, your family. Don't be fooled by psychos and who think that with their money they can do what they want. Imagine they have been blocked from all the banks in this country and all the banks in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, blocked from all the banks in the world. This is serious. And then causing you guys, as candidates and others now, they're doing facial recognition. And my understanding is that it's going to various authorities locally and overseas so that you can get sanctioned, who are going to these meetings, who are showing themselves as members, who are talking and bragging that they got this money. You be careful. Many have lost their visas. Prominent people, a few of them, well, not so prominent, you know. Others regret, show great disrespect. So friends and families, you have to be careful with what you're doing, with your life, and this is our country. When the time for maturity comes, I always called and believed in national unity. But how can you have national unity and work with another political party like the PNC and the AFC, those neither here nor there party, when they are nothing, and two, when they are sworn to destroy you? How can we have a national front government? It is not possible, not with them. You have to create the situation. You got to show that you're positive. If you want to be recognized by the PPPC and the government of Guyana, you got to show that you're truly eloquent and you mean to work for the growth and development of this country, and we can have a national front government. Ladies and gentlemen, back to the topic. I started a few weeks ago with the intention of the Bani Israel, the children of Israel, and why all what they're doing and all that is happening and what happened to them. I gave you a synopsis in the first one. Then I went to part one and part two, leading up to them, leading up to the Bani Israel. Now, I have nothing against Israel. I wish they could behave. I wish they could respect the people whose lands they came into, took the best part, and now want the other part because they found a lot of billions or trillions of barrels of gas as other resources, and they want to kill them and wipe them out and rape them and jail them, and when they retaliate, it's trouble. So I told you all that they were accepted as God's chosen. But when you're God's chosen, it's not for your ego and your power to feel you could do what you want. We are the chosen of God, or the place was promised to us 3,000 years ago by God. Oh no, you have a responsibility. And the point I made to you is that they had a contract in which they were supposed to become the priests of Allah, of Yahweh, Elohim. They were supposed to be the priests of humanity, the main propagator, but they betrayed God. And twice they were expelled from the land of Israel, the last being never to return. Never to return. Some Christians are fooled, unfortunately. Some of them believe once you got to accept them as the greatest thing on earth. When you accept the Jews or the Israelis as the greatest things on earth, that you will be saved, automatically saved. So all of this, I think, it's a lot of ludicrosity, and it has lost. They have lost that blessing, and they have technically become an accursed people. I think they will be judged like everyone else. Who do good and autumn wait will get the reward. Who do evil and autumn wait will get their reward. I'm not saying they are all evil. There are some very beautiful Jews, some very good, humane, elegant, educated, decent Jews. I think they made a mistake by not accepting Yeshua or Jesus Christ as their Messiah, as their teacher, as their reformer, and they killed him. And like they killed all the prophets that came to them, or many. They even tried to kill Moses. They tried to kill even family within mighty family. We know the story of Joseph trying to kill their own, and this is how they are. This is how these people are. But God couldn't control them like a robot. He gave them a human mind like you and me. And then they had to use their own minds, whether to become a truly God's people and a true agent of God and teachers and judges in the land, or to become the pariah, the disgusted, the evil one. And don't get me wrong too, there are people with they were blessed. So there are people with great wisdom and intellect for energy and industry and business and so on. They have something particular about them. That was part of that blessing, but they betrayed God and they betrayed man. I'm not a hater of Jews. As a matter of fact, I love all people and I love Jews as well. I love the Jewish people. I worked with them, with many of them. And so I have great respect for them. And the fact that they worship the one true God, the Yahweh, the Elohim, the Allah. But then they become hypocritical and they betrayed their God. So let me move on now. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Creatures of man and need of revelation. And this is section 4, chapter 2, Al-Baqarah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And when thy Lord said to the angels, this is verse 30, I'm going to place a ruler in the earth. They said, wilt thou place it in it such as make mischief in it and shed blood? They're conversing with Allah. Even though they were robotic and they couldn't refuse an order, they could talk. They could get their point across. So you're going to make man, and then out of mud, you made us out of light, and then they will make mischief and shed blood and fight wars and so on. And we celebrate thy praise and extol thy holiness. He said, surely I know what you know not. So they say, we honor you, we pray to you, we worship your holiness, we bow to you, we extol you. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I know what you know not. And sometimes people ask me, why you say that man, even though he's made of mud, is greater than the angels? Well, as we proceed, I'll come with that. Even greater than the angels, greater than Lucifer, who became Satan, or in Islam, Iblis, who became Shaitan, and their followers, Shaitain, and so on. So all of this will be coming as we go along in these presentations. And he taught Adam all the names, then presented them to the angels. He said, tell me the names of those if you are right. So he created man, and he taught man all the names of everything. And then Adam was given a test, and I go on. They said, glory be to thee, we have no knowledge, but thou, which thou hast taught us, surely thou art the knowing, the wise. That is the angel talking to him now. He said, Allah speaking to Adam, his first creation. O Adam, inform them of their names. So he had taught Adam all of their names. So when he informed them of their names, he said, did I not say to you that I know what is unseen in the heavens and the earth? And I know what you manifest and what you hide. That's the power of the Creator, Lord of the worlds. And when we said to the angels, be submissive to Adam, They submitted. When Allah said, submit to Adam, bow to him, they submitted. But Lucifer, Quran described him as Iblis, the most beautiful thing God could have created. He did not. He refused and was proud, and he was one of the disbelievers. So he refused. Now, there's something we have to understand here. Angels are robotic creatures. They cannot refuse. So how come Lucifer, Iblis, turned Satan or Shaitan could refuse? He was an archangel, but that did not give him any right to refuse. Believe he was an archangel. It is thought so, or the highest creation that Allah could create. Remember, Allah cannot make another Allah. Elohim, Yahweh cannot make another Elohim, Yahweh. So he became, Iblis or Lucifer became one of the disbelievers. But you got to remember, he had the capacity of thought. Therefore, it is safe to say that he was not angel, archangel, or anything but a power that God created, like man now, who will have free mind, free thought. This was the jinn. He was the highest of jinn that Allah could have created, and was very close to Allah. And Allah loved him. And he was close, but because of his vanity, he refused. And that is where he was a jinn. And jinns have the capacity to think, to have families, like man made of clay. They are made of light. Smokeless fire can travel faster than the speed of light, or at the speed of light. So they don't need visas to go into nations. But yet man made of mud is greater than him. And that's a mystery I described sometime in the past, and I will tell you more about it later on. So he became one of the disbelievers. And then we go to the Bible, which was been manipulated, played with, taken out. Other people put their books and write books, such as St. Paul, and kings and queens, and that is why Muslims cannot accept the 4 canonical Gospels, because they were interpolated. The Gospel according to Mark, not the Gospel of Mark. Remember that, my Christian friends, and I'm not being critical. The Gospel according to Luke, not the Gospel of Luke. So there's a third party. Somebody else is writing. The Gospel according to John. And so on. So according to. So the Muslims can, even though we are commanded by Allah to respect the Injil, which is the New Testament, this is what you have in the Bible now, is no longer the original canonical gospel. It is not the Injil. I'm not saying this to critique, to attack, but I'm saying this to guide and to understand. Over time, the books were played with. For example, King James did his thing. And a kind of a person, an adulterer. It is claimed also that he was a gay person, and he took out and put in what he felt should be in there when he did the translation of the Injil. He did not receive revelation from God. And then you get what? Hundreds of versions of the Injil and the Old Testament from different churches and temples and kings. The Douay version of the Bible has 73 books. And the other Bibles have 66 books. So friends and family, ladies and gentlemen, which one is the right one? So this is where the books became manipulated and tricked. And a lot is known by the Roman Catholic Church, much of which they have secreted themselves. And some certain secret societies who cannot bring out everything they say, because if they do, mankind will not be able to handle it and there will be a state of war. Remember, all of this is leading up to the Bani Israel, ladies and gentlemen, the children of Israel. And then we move on to 35. And we said, that's Allah, O Adam, dwell thou and thy wife in the garden, and eat from it a plenteous food, wherever you wish, and approach not this tree, lest it be you be of the unjust. So God is telling them, as we know the story from the Bible and so on, we do not disrespect the Bible, we Muslims. We respect it, we revere it, we treat it with dignity, because there's still in the Bible many good aspects that came from the Creator and Lord. So we have to treat them well. And in the various books, according to Luke, John, and so on, the books, according to them, some good things are still in it. And so we must show reverence to it. We as Muslims, at least, we do. But when he told him you can eat and enjoy, everything is cooked already for him. Everything is prepared, fruits and vegetables and so on. But don't eat from this tree. As this tree will cause you to be of the unjust. And then I go on, 36. But the devil made them slip from it. They were tempted. They were tempted. Remember, God gave it to us when he made us. When he created Adam, he blew into Adam the breath of life. And Quran speaks about that in other sections, and also, maybe right here, and also we sometimes refer to the previous books, which is the Bible. We, like I said, we don't, so a lot of good thing in there. And God blew into man the breath of life. Many people believe that God made some mud, formed it, God put his mouth and blew into him, and then he started to breathe. No, man was already now beginning to exist through a form of evolutionary development. And the Quran tells us everything comes from the sea. Everything comes from the sea. All of life, including man, developed from the sea, which means the amoeba, the microscopic planktons and so on. And then evolution took place, and I dealt in the Quran about evolution in the past. While I don't have many people on YouTube, these were posted on YouTube. I mean, I dealt with the Quran and evolution. Because Islam, who know Islam, wise enough, will know that Quran concurs with evolution. Not evolution away from God, but evolution through God, through his thought. And evolution continues to take place. And I give some of you those wisdom in previous presentations on YouTube, it is, and also on Electric Mosque Guyana Facebook, Electric Mosque Guyana YouTube. So the devil made them slip from it and caused them to depart from the state in which they went, or they were, that divine state, that holy state. The devil caused them to depart from that. And then they had to be expelled. And then Allah said, and we said, go forth, some of you are the enemies of others, and there is for you in the earth an abode and a provision for a time. So even though he put them out, there's still plentiful food, and there's still plentiful provision, but for a time you have to produce your own food. And the Bible speaks of it very beautifully. From the sweat of thy brow shall ye earn bread. So now they had to grow and plant and so on. But there was enough to carry them on because they did contrary to God and allow Iblis, Lucifer, Satan, Shaitan to lead them astray. And I go on 37. Then Adam received the revealed words from the Lord. He started to get a revelation from the Creator now. And he turned to him mercifully. And Allah turned to Adam like a child, merciful. Because he is that Adam turned to him, Allah, mercifully. He is in capital H. He, that means Allah, turned to him mercifully. I felt sorry for him. That's not in the Quran, I felt sorry for him. That is my explanation. Surely he is oft returning to mercy, the merciful. Allah is always merciful. Oft returning. We said, go forth from this state all. Surely there will come to you a guidance from me. Then whoever follows my guidance, no fear shall come upon them, nor shall they grieve. So you go forth. I will send you guidance. And like that, revelation continued to Adam. And he lived for a very long time. Over 900 years, 1,000 years, and so on. So that the old other prophets that followed him from his loins. And so once you follow the guidance, you shall have no fear. And you will have no need to grieve. So much is the wisdom and the joy of Allah, the Creator. And as to those who disbelieve in and reject our messages, they are the companions of the fire, and in it they shall abide. So God is now telling us, them, if you disbelieve in my prophets and my teachings, you will become cursed. You'll become accursed like the children of Israel, like what they have to live in, the degradation, the theft of Palestine, the manipulation trick. God, some people say, God brought them back to Palestine. God never brought them back. It was international political conspiracy to plant them in there to create another state of some great European and North American nations to control and the whole Arabian Peninsula and the whole Middle East. So it was like a foreign state being planted there. That is not the will of God. And this is where Pastor Hajji and all the others who are manipulating my president, the president of the United States, to do things that are wrong. And he really believed in this, what they call the born-again Christians, the ultra-right Christians, and so on. So Hajji is one of the key persons thinking that somehow or the other, because you are accepting these people whom God cursed, and honor them and give them all these facilities and benefits, that you will be blessed, but instead they will be cursed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is where it ends. And I'll show you the Quran. Section 5, Israelite prophecies fulfilled in the Quran. See there? The Israelite prophecies fulfilled in the Quran. They are not fulfilled in the Bible. For whatever reason, they were manipulated and taken out. So here they are fulfilled. And that is why the Quran had to come to correct all the the nasties that was done by man and king and people of power and manipulators and tricksters, ladies and gentlemen. That is why the Quran had to come and to change certain rules and laws from the ancient times to adjust man to the new times. So it ends there. We will start in the next program, section 5, Israelite prophecies fulfilled in the Quran. My dear beloved friends and families, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allah bless everyone, their children, their family, our country. Bless our President, Dr. Irfan Ali, VP Jack Deal, Mark Phillips, the entire cabinet, so we will raise the glory. Bless us to keep away the psychos and the psychopaths and the cheats and the criminals who want to get into power, O Allah. The very way we know of Pablo Escobar, the great evil murderer, criminal, trying to get into power as well. I pray that you bless our country. Keep away the psychos and the evils and the thieves and the liars and the manipulators, Almighty Allah. And help us who are satisfied and pleased to keep within the law of man and the law of God. Your friend, your brother, my dearest friends, help and bless everyone, O Allah, and bless our land, Guyana. Your friend, your brother, me, Hajji, Dr. Roshan, saying thank you, farewell, friends, from the Electric Mosque's presentation of the teachings of Islam.
يا من هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار